everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going over my reading goals for 2025. So this is something that I sometimes call reading resolutions. I don't actually do like other resolutions in my normal life, but I have a bunch of different reading goals. Sometimes I also include channel goals, but I think I have 10-ish reading goals that are like specifically just things that I want to do related to my reading. This year in 2025, I did not plan on having 10 things. I was just putting together a list, and maybe just the way that I break it down ended up being 10 things. But I do have 10 goals here that we are gonna go over. So the first one that I always do every year and have been since like 2012 when I started my Goodreads is a reading goal. How many books am I actually going to read in the year? Last year I did 150, and then after moving and not reading for like the entirety of June, I moved it down to 100, and I actually did hit 150, but I slowed down a lot near the end of the year, started diversifying some of the other stuff I was doing because I was playing video games and stuff, which I also love. So I think one thing that I want to do this year is only do 100 books as like my main goal, because I want to be able to not have like a ton of pressure. 100 is still amazing, obviously, but I want to be able to have a little bit more time to do other things as well. I've also been like marathoning TV shows sometimes instead of reading. Like it's just like taking breaks from reading sometimes to do other stuff, and if I only do 100 books for the year, it doesn't feel as bad. Like I'm not like cheating on my reading goal as much. And again, this is a goal just for me. I'm not competing with anyone else. I'm actually not even trying to like up my numbers or top my numbers from before, but I think 100 is still like really good. Like it's almost 2 books a week for the whole year, and I think that would be like a good number to like keep it at. I also do pick pages for the year as well. My goal in general is usually like 2,000 pages a month. Some months I've gone way above and beyond, especially if I'm really focusing on like manga or comics and things like that, things that are very quick and easy to read. And then other months, this last year in 2024, I did not hit, and that's just because I wasn't reading, or I was reading things that, you know, took me longer, or like I only read a couple things and it obviously did not hit 2,000 pages. But because my goal is sort of 2,000 pages every month, I'm rounding up a little bit and I'm saying my page goal for the whole year is 25,000 pages. Again, I feel like this is pretty doable with my normal reading habits. I got like 30,000 something this last year in 2024, so I think that should definitely be doable. The next thing that I want to definitely do is my 25 books to read in 2025. Now, I did a video on my channel about this. I will leave a link down below in case you have not seen it, but I picked out in that video just like, these are the books that were calling to me. The thing is, I then also wrapped them up so I don't know which book is what, and I'm gonna have it as part of my TBR game. So they are going to be mystery books. I'm going to be trying to incorporate them in my TBRs, but I'm not going to necessarily know which ones I get when. And I do hopefully want to read all 25 in 2025, because these are books, quite a few of them that I'm like really into, but I just haven't read for some reason, or have been on my TBR for a while and I just have not read for some reason. Like I definitely need to read them, want to read them, and so hopefully this is going to be that push. The next thing that I want to do that I am bringing through from 2024 is to save $1 for every book read, and also continue with saving $1 for every book on my TBR, from my TBR game, that I did not read. I did this for 2024, and I don't have like physical cash to show you because I ended up using a savings account type of thing. But with the books that I read in 2024, plus the books that ended up on a TBR that I did not read in 2024, I actually saved $200. So I have $200 that, I don't know, maybe I should do like a birthday, going to buy some books type of thing. We'll see, but my birthday is the middle of January, so it's close. But yeah, $200 just from saving $1 for every book I read, and obviously every book that ended up on a TBR that I did not read, because I read like 163 books during the year, and then obviously I had 30 something-ish books. I'm not doing the math right now. It is too early. It is January 1st. I'm not doing the math. But I did count earlier, $200. So I think that's amazing. I want to continue that and do that again for 2025. My next goal is to review all of the books. Now, I do wrap-ups on this channel. You guys get to see the videos for that. One thing that I did in 2024, which I never actually stated as a goal, but I started off so well with this. I was writing a review on Goodreads and Storygraph for every single book that I read. Could be a long review, short review, whatever it was. I know I had a couple like middle of the series manga type of books that I only wrote like one sentence for, but I was writing a review on all of the sites that I use for book tracking. So again, Goodreads, Storygraph. It fell off around September, I want to say, of this year, and I think that was because I did the 30 and 30 manga challenge, and I was reading so many manga that I eventually got overwhelmed and just never caught back up. But I think I want to make this a main goal for this year in 2025. I do want to sit down and try as quickly as possible to write some sort of review on Goodreads or Storygraph. I think I might also use this. Came in an Illumicrate middle of the year this last year in 2024, and it has space for like little notes and stuff for books. So I think maybe this could also be something that I use throughout the year to write down stuff in case I do somehow end up a little bit behind in putting those reviews in, because I did really enjoy it. I liked the fact that I was doing it, and somehow even though I didn't do it for all 163 books that I read this year, Goodreads, during their like, here's your year-end book and review type of thing, said I was in the top 1% of reviewers. So I guess I read enough and wrote enough reviews that I was in the top 1%, which was fun. So I do want to write those reviews. The next thing that I want to do for reading is reduce my physical TBR. So my physical TBR are these shelves right over here. I think you can barely see. There's one bookcase here, and then there's one off camera. You guys can't fully see. But I'm going to be focusing on physical TBR in 2025. I have also been hauling and counting all of my ebook TBR, things like that, but most of my ebook TBR right now are things that I got for free through Stuff Your Kindle, or things that I got for very cheap during sales, and I do love reading ebooks. I do want to continue doing that. However, they're not as intimidating in the way that my physical TBR is staring at me from the sidelines. You know what I mean? So in 2025, I'm going to be focusing on my physical TBR. So currently, I want to reduce it. I have two different numbers for my physical TBR on Goodreads, and I do track all of my TBR stuff. It says I have 511. On my own book inventory spreadsheet that I have been keeping for years, I have 533 on my physical TBR. There's 22 books unaccounted for. I think some of them are duplicates because I have a couple TBR books where I actually have duplicates, but then I also have some TBR books, things that are in my library that are unread, that I don't know if I'm ever going to fully read them because they're compendiums or bind-ups of things. Like, I have read Little Women in the past, but I have a Barnes & Noble Classics edition of Little Women up here where you guys actually can't see it right now, that has like Little Women plus 2 other sequels in it. So like technically, if I'm counting my Little Women editions, most of them are read. That one is unread because it has extra stuff. So no matter what, we're above 500 books on my physical TBR right now. So one of my goals for 2025 is to at least get my physical TBR under 100, especially because we know I'm gonna end up buying books, right? There's no way that I'm gonna just read off my physical TBR and never buy books for a whole year. I know that's not gonna happen. So even though I have a little bit of a discrepancy between the books that I have on Goodreads as TBR books, which I think is my most like accurate one, just because I have other things that I own it, I might never read it. It's more just because I wanted to have the book on my inventory. We're a little bit off on those numbers, but I want to get under 500 books on my physical TBR by the end of 2025. Another sort of reduction thing that I want to do is to get my NetGalley to 80%. As of right now, January 1st, 2025, I'm at 71% on NetGalley, which is actually not that bad. I've been in the 70s for a couple years now. I think at the beginning of 2024 I was actually closer to 74, 75, so it has gone down a little bit. I'm usually really good about reading my arcs at the beginning of the year, and then life happens somehow in the middle, like it has the last couple years, and it falls to the wayside a little bit. I get behind. I don't review the arcs as quickly as I should. So currently I'm at 71%. I don't know exactly how many arcs I would have to read to get up to 80%. I'm gonna be trying not to request as many arcs until I am up there, but I would love to get that percentage up to 80 by the end of the year. Let's talk about hauling books. This is also reading goals, you know? I would like to read more books than I haul. So again, this is going to be talking about physical books because my ebooks are mostly composed of Stuff Your Kindle books. That is really hard for me to do. I got like 25 of them in the last Stuff Your Kindle at the end of December. But as of 2024, I bought or was gifted 124 physical books that are now on my shelf somewhere. So 124. I read 163, and those are including audiobooks, ebooks, library books. I think that's okay, but technically I did hit this in 2024 for what I want to do in 2025. I want to read more books than I haul in. So this is a little bit separate than making sure my TBR doesn't get over 500 again. Like I want it to go under 500, but I read 163 and I only hauled in physical books 124. So like I did haul in less than I read. That's my goal. Again, I would prefer if like the 163 books that I read had more physical and not library books, just because that would help me get my TBR down. But the goal in general is to get more books read than I haul. Does that make sense? Hopefully that does. And then my last goal, actually, I would like to read at least 50% of the books that I buy in 2025. So again, let's look back at 2024. I have these here. Again, we haven't even done my full like end of the year stats video or anything, but in 2024, of just the physical books, because again, that's what I'm going to be focusing on now, of those 124 physical books that I purchased in 2024, 26% of them were read, either before I bought it or after I bought it. So a quarter of the books that I bought or was gifted in 2024 are read. But that does mean that 74% of them are unread. I would like that number to be closer to 50-50 at least. I would like to any books that I purchase, and like again, I'm not even putting like a number like, oh, I will only buy 100 books. Like I know I can't necessarily keep to that, but if I keep the number to more of like a percentage of if I buy 100 books, I would love to try to read 50 of them. You know what I mean? So I'm keeping that to a percentage. I can buy whatever because I do not do well with book buying bans. So if I buy books, I want to try and read half of them for the year. And actually, I think that was all 10. Again, I hope that these feel doable. To me, they feel doable, and that's like the main goal. That I made goals that I think I can do and keep to, and are gonna make me feel good about my TBR and my reading. What is your main reading goal for the year if you have one? And if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye!